Hey everyone, it's Dumb and Dumber! Seriously, if you combine the intellect between those two, you will end up... dead. Yep. So what did we have this episode? The Fox Devil is mad at Aki. Denji and Power are idiots, and they also have a new drunk trainer with a name I'm going to butcher throughout this entire video. So yeah, let's talk about it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to a much less bloody review of the latest Chainsaw Man episode. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and check out my shorts and TikTok for the latest updates. So this episode was much more chill compared to the previous ones. It brings us to the aftermath of the big operation to kill all the devil hunters. We jump to Aki in the hospital with Denji and Power being as loud and rude as always. I love how they both devour those apples. Red apples are known to represent the concept of sin. You can see it in other shows like Death Note and also Attack on Titan. That actually connected nicely with Denji and Power being very morally loose compared to Aki. We can see it from their answers later, and from the fact that Denji also feels he's losing his human emotions. So that scene of them munching on apples while Aki is just quiet in bed looked kind of iconic to me, so I figured I will mention it. And if you want to know more about why apples represent sin, check out this video I did about it. It will surprise you, I promise. But going back to the episode, Denji informs Aki that only 2 people from their unit survived the attack, and Aki is obviously devastated. They both leave to meet Makima, and we get a little gesture from Denji when he leaves 1 apple for Aki. Of course, those apples are Aki's and Denji basically stole them, but it also shows Denji warming up to him a bit. They go out of the room and we get a heartbreaking scene of Aki crying in private, just like Imeno said he always did. Of course, the moment got a little lighter when Denji comes back to pick up his manga, but now he feels awkward to enter the room while Aki is crying. And here came something I think I talked about before. Denji's emotions and behavior. He understands why Aki is crying, but then he also realizes that he doesn't feel a thing. That is strange because Himeno was generally very nice to him, at least when she wasn't trying to molest him, but yeah, she was nice to him. She was the first person who offered to be his friend, and if we recall, Denji cherishes the concept of friends simply because he never had friends. In the first episodes, he even told Aki that he is willing to be friends with a devil or a fiend, so we know how much that means to him, but still, he can't even bring himself to cry. That makes him a bit worried. He remembers being sad when losing Puchita, but now, even if Makima died, he believes he will just be fine after a few days, because everything he ever wanted was a bed and 3 meals a day. And Denji believes he is losing his human emotions, and yes, I have to agree, it looks like he is slowly losing his humanity. Another important detail was Aki asking the Cursed Devil how many years he got left, and the answer is 2 years. Now that made me think, if the Cursed Devil tells Aki he has 2 more years to live, does it mean that Aki practically can't die until that time? Does the Cursed Devil take into account outside influences on his life, like future encounters or fights? Is it like future telling, or does it only addresses Aki's current physical health? Like if he decided to jump off the roof right now, will something stop him because he should die in 2 years? Let me know what you think. Denji and Power leave the hospital and the 2 devil hunters from the previous episode come to visit Aki. He tries to call the Fox Devil but it won't show up. They tell him the Fox Devil is upset with him and won't listen, so now Aki needs to make a new contract if he wants to stay with the devil hunters. They flat out offer him a chance to leave now, but Aki is not going to. He is set on avenging his family and now also Himeno. We jump to Denji and Power meeting up with Makima. She takes them to someone who would train them, and soon we meet this drunk dude again, and just so I won't have to call him drunk dude all the time, I checked out his name. And, well, that didn't really help, cause I have no idea how to pronounce it. Is it Kishibe? Is it Kishibe? I honestly don't know. But anyway, Makima tells them he's the perfect teacher, and he later informs them that he is the strongest devil hunter. Now, I don't know if he's just bragging, but yeah, there is a pretty good chance he's just being honest. Anyways, she tries to introduce him, but he tells her to be quiet. That's okay though, I already told you his name is Kishibe. He then goes on to ask Denji and Power 3 questions to determine their level of humanity. This connects directly to what Denji said earlier about losing his emotions, and we see he and Power have somewhat similar answers. They both accept their teammate's death without experiencing grief or true sadness. That is a little bit sociopathic and kinda crazy, and we remember this guy is looking for the crazy devil hunters. Also, they both are not interested in revenge. That is obvious from their first answer, but also a good sign they won't be affected by personal feelings while fighting. And last, whose side are you on? Denji is on the side that feeds him, and Power is on the side of whoever is winning. That shows they have no personal attachment to people. They think about themselves and their survival. For Kirby right there, these are the perfect answers, and I can see why. He later tells them that he used to break his toys because he was so strong. So those answers would also help dehumanize Denji and Power. As he said, they have no human rights, and that will make them perfect as his toys, as he could break them as much as he wants. He tells Makima she can go away, and straight away breaks both Power and Denji's neck. Here we get some more interesting information about Denji, and also fiends in general. Both can regenerate from blood, which we already know, but now Kishibe also confirms that Denji is immortal, while Power is only half immortal. That again comes to prove how Denji's condition is so unique, and I guess that if this guy says he is immortal, that means he really can't die. We saw him torn in half in the previous episode, and also how he came back to life from a headshot after his ignition cord was pulled. So I guess as long as this cord is pulled and or blood is ingested, that means Denji can just keep on reviving himself. That's at least what I make of it for now, so I hope we will get more information about his powers before the season ends. They go at it until nightfall, and then Kishibe leaves and tells them he will meet them tomorrow. Power thinks Denji was killed around 20 times. That's the number of times she was unconscious, so she can't be sure. But they both decide they can't keep letting him do this to them. Power even offers they should run away together. Eventually, she decided they will win if they will fight him with their intellect, which is adorable because they are both basically morons. Back at the hospital, Aki gets a visit from Himeno's sister who came to give him letters from Himeno. In her letters, Aki reads how concerned Himeno was for her family and her father's health. She also wrote them casual things about Aki, like the time she made him pierce his ears. But then he also reads what she was trying to do back then, when she offered they will go to the private sector. And he finally understands how concerned she was for both of their safety. If he didn't know it by now, I guess that was what made him finally understand how much Himeno really cared for him. In the morning, Kishi Bang Bang comes to pick up Denji and Power. But they are using their brains and setting up a little ambush, which was actually pretty impressive, I must admit. She attacks him with the intent to kill, first going for his head, and next attacking with bottles of blood from the floor above. But Kishibe sure has skills. His reflexes are incredible, and he doesn't even get injured. He also doesn't have any problem handling Denji coming from behind and finishing him with a single kick. He tells them this was their best attempt yet. A prey would use his head when he's concerned, so they should keep on doing that. He explains that Power uses too much of her blood in a fight and becomes anemic and unable to keep fighting, and Denji just didn't see his attack coming. He tells them they are free for the day, but then immediately throws a dagger into Denji's face, with a reminder that a beast should never trust a hunter, and I am guessing this phrase will have more meaning in the future. From there we jump to Aki and the two other hunters. They are currently where the devil hunters keep all the devils they captured. It's time for Aki to make a new contract, and they offer him the future devil. Yes, the fear of the future is substantial, so I can't wait to see what this devil can do. We only see his eye, but then I remembered this dancing dude in the OP that always caught my attention. Is this an eye? With only 2 more episodes to go, can this be the future devil? I hope so. The two hunters tell Aki that this devil usually takes a very high price for the contract, so I'm also waiting to see what will Aki lose next. And that is where this episode ends, and like every episode, we get a different and very cool original ending which is always incredible to watch. What was your favorite part? Write it down in the comments. Do you think Denji and Power will be able to outsmart Kishibe? And also, how do you actually pronounce his name? Let me know. And I will see you all real soon in my next video, and even sooner in the comments. But until then, let me just remind you all to dedicate your hearts to humanity, inside and outside the walls.